Good morning, Markham families. This is Jocelyn Erninger, principal of Markham Elementary School, and I just wanted to provide you with some updates for what school will be like when we return to school full day. I want to start by thanking our faculty and staff here, our custodial team, and our administrative team who have been working diligently all year to ensure that students get the best education and experience possible, especially during these extenuating and circumstances, and who have especially been working really hard these last 3 weeks to help me plan and replan and tweak logistics in order to ensure that students are safe whenever they return to school full day. I want to start by talking about our arrival and dismissal procedures. Arrival and dismissal will look very similar to what it looks like right now during hybrid learning. Students will report to their designated and assigned doors at 8:25. We ask that they form a line in order to maintain 6 feet of distance. And once the doors are open, students will report directly to their classroom where they will unpack in their room at their desk, and their teacher will then send them to their lockers as space clears up in the hallway. Here we have a map of our entrances. Again, these are the same as they have been in our hybrid learning and instruction mode, but it is here as a refresher. Students in grades 3, 4, second, and kindergarten will report to the back of the building near the baseball fields for arrival, and students in grades 1st through 5th, as well as any tardy students, will report to the front of the building. For dismissal, students will be escorted to the same doors that they entered. We will begin our dismissal procedures at 3:30 and dismissing by the grade levels listed below. We ask that you remind your students that all masks must be on at all times while students are on school grounds. For our kindergarten arrival and dismissal, we are so happy to have these students who this is their first experience for school back in for full 5 days of instruction. For arrival and dismissal, kindergarten will continue using door C8. We will have AM arrival at 8:25 and PM arrival at 12:40. And AM dismissal is at 11:20 and PM dismissal is at 3:30. Some safety reminders for arrival and dismissal. We ask that you are masked at all times, including grown-ups. We ask that you are also mindful of the go zone. No one should drive through that Governor's Drive. We do have children who walk through that area, and we want to ensure safety during that time. So we thank you for your cooperation with that. Please remind your children to keep 6 feet of distance, and that playground and recreational spaces are closed before and during school hours. Our lunch schedules will look a little bit different this year. I know typically there is an hour-long lunch and recess hour. In order to accommodate the number of students and the amount of distancing that we had to have, we expanded our lunch hour from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and you will see the schedule listed below. It is important to note that for grades 3 through 5, they will have recess that runs consecutively with their lunch. So they will have a lunch hour. It just will not necessarily be from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. For our lunch protocols, all of our lunches will be in the gym. We will have grab and go meals similar to the lunches that have been happening all year. Your students will order their lunches in the morning with their teacher, and then there will be tables outside of the gym where they will pick their lunches up as they enter the gym for lunch. In order to maintain 6 feet of distancing, we have about 120 chairs in the gym, 2 per student. One the student will sit in, the other one they can place their lunch on. It'll sit right in front of them as demonstrated in this clip art here. And the students will eat their lunch from that chair. We had to use chairs. It's a little bit easier to clean up and move around than it would be if there were desks. Students must remain masked during lunch except when eating. And if they have a question for one of our lunch monitors or they need help, they have to remask, raise their hand, and ask for help. And then the lunch monitors can come over and help them. And then once they're gone, they can continue to eat unmasked, obviously. We ask that students bring either a book or talk quietly with a neighbor whenever they are finished with lunch. And another new protocol that will be happening this year is that if students are going home from lunch in an intermittent way, so just here or there, we ask that a parent or guardian get in contact with the teacher before 8:45 the morning of the lunch that you would like them to return home for. You can contact the teacher either by email, note, or phone call, but it's just for safety reasons, we can't accept verbal notification from children. Lunch expectations for students, we ask that they prioritizing eating, which I know it's going to be really hard for little ones who want to talk to their friends. But as long as their masks are on, they are not, or off, they are not allowed to talk. Once they remask and they're finished eating, they can talk to their neighbor or again, read a book. We ask that they remain seated in order to maintain that 6 feet distancing and that they clean up their own area before exiting the gym. So throwing away their materials, their wipes if they need them or they would like them. Our recess schedule is as follows. All of our recess students will be Our recess schedule is as follows. All of our students in grades first and second grade will have an additional recess in the morning. We were really trying to be mindful of, especially for some of our young children, they are not going to be used to having a whole day of instruction in school. And so in order to help build up some of that stamina and build in some brain breaks for them, we have a morning recess and an afternoon recess as well. And so, cohorting is going to be really important during recess. Our protocols are that each homeroom is a cohort and students are assigned a specific area. They'll rotate through those areas throughout the week, but they will remain only with their homeroom group. We ask that students will wash and sanitize hands, and masks are required unless there is a mask break, during which time students will be 6 feet apart. We ask that you dress your students for the weather as they will be going outside. We think it's really important for the children to get fresh air. So if it's not raining too hard or it's not super cold, then the children will be going outside. So please make sure that you are paying attention to the weather and dressing the kids for the weather. Thank you. In the event that there is inclement weather, we will have indoor recess. The indoor recess will take place in the students' homeroom classrooms. We will have activity baskets from the PTA, so thank you to them for providing resources for indoor recess. Additionally, students may choose to read or bring in their own appropriate seat activity if they would like. For our master schedule, the day will look very similarly to what a typical day looked like before the pandemic. We will resume our typical number of encore offerings. Students, with the exception of fifth grade, will travel to all of the encore locations throughout the building. Fifth grade will travel for physical education and health in the multipurpose room, but all other encores for fifth grade will be pushed into their classroom. Learning support, reading support, math support, and related services will all resume in-person instruction as well. I want to take a minute here to highlight our sanitation and mitigation efforts that are happening at Markham and really throughout the entire district. We do have universal masking, so all students and staff are required to be masked at all times unless they are eating or there is a mask break that is outlined in the health and safety plan. We are using student cohorting, so the students' homerooms will serve as their cohort, and they travel with that group of students throughout the day, including for recess and lunch, and that is to limit student interaction and possible transmission. We are also limiting the use of shared materials. And in some instances where materials cannot be shared, they will be sanitized between use. And then in addition to that, we are using hand sanitizing and the use of barrier boards as well as mitigation efforts. And we did just recently get the new barrier boards that have the clear sides so that students will be able to see the board a little bit better than they were with the more opaque ones. As a reminder for our health office protocols, if your child does not feel well, please keep them home. If any of those symptoms, we ask that you use our COVID notification form, which is in all of my newsletters as well as on our district webpage as well. My contact information is listed on this slide. If you have any questions or concerns, or you're seeking clarification or elaboration, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Your child's teacher will be sending out more information about their classroom-specific mitigation efforts and strategies, and just some instructional updates from their end towards the end of the week. And we, again, are really, really excited to have your children back in the building for the full day. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns, and I would be happy to elaborate on any of the plans that we have. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.